Hi. Hello. YouTube says we're live, so I think that's correct. And as per usual, we don't have music on. Let's fix that, shall we? There we go. Okay. Welcome. It's a new week. It is... I don't know, I had something I wanted to say, but I can tell you I'm not quite sure how I feel today. I feel a bit strange, so I don't know, this might be a shorter stream, but of course, welcome. We are trying to get something down into this beautiful book. We're continuing with Want that I still haven't made properly. Here is our title page. Let me just, in case you haven't been here, this is what it's supposed to look like, just with Want, you know, instead of danger. And our illuminated letter is yet to be illuminated. So that's wonderful, isn't it? Anyway, that's not the focus of today. Given that last time we spent pretty much the entire time making the prayer that after I made it, tried to make into cursive, which didn't go too well. I forgot it was supposed to be cursive. And yeah. So I will say that I have been writing a little bit after where we left off last time. Not a whole lot, but I have written like the end of the flashback scene, where we sort of have two flashbacks going on at the same time. So why don't we start with that, I think. Where did we end? I already see a problem, by the way, that I think... something stuck to my camera. Okay, so before we start this, I already see a problem in that Carl is showing a bit too many emotions, to be honest. At least in this scene here. Because I sort of want him actually to be this depressed character. Things are not really working out for him. For example, he has lost his... He thought he was going to be a druid after having worked hard at the roots of the realm oak, but of course he was turned over for other reasons. Let's just start here. You do, Druid Wigglin assured. I could not ask for a better tree attendant. And yet, Carl's loud voice woke up both Spiritbounds near here on his perfectly fitted perch root, as well as Gwyllfayn lying underneath on the stamped ground beneath the realm oak. Beneath. Something that needs to be changed. And yet, it has never been me ascending to Druid during the autumn celebrations, but somehow Elder Druid Dwerith's own tree attendant will be the one amongst these roots for the foreseeable cycles. Dandlu even heard rumors that they will ascend to Druid next time. It isn't fair. The work should be in spring. Yeah. I thought I wanted to say something there, but I didn't. Carl scoffed loudly as well as attempted to break free from his mentor's grip on his shoulders. What does it all matter, he said, and reverted back to his gloomy self. This is sort of... because we've written that here he smiles. Sure, we've made a little note that there shouldn't be a smile. He was prone to tears up here, and, a bit too much emotion. So this is sort of what I'm trying to remedy that he reverted back to his gloomy self, the same mood that had clouded his mind for a long time. This paragraph is definitely sort of a band-aid paragraph right now, so it's still gonna make some sense. Because, I said, he is in a little bit of a rut, to say the least. You'll be a druid in time, trust me, Druid Gwyllfayn had said. And that is not just something I think. I know it will happen. You and Gwyllfayn are too great in your abilities to stay where you are. And then we have this really hard cut from the flashback into, we made a good team amongst the father's hands, didn't we, Gwyll? Carl said to his Spiritbound as he watched his mentor walk through the archway and down into the roots and out of sight. Me doing all the work and you either chasing shadows or sleeping with Dair here. You're gonna miss him, aren't you? And now, aren't you? The moment we have been waiting for a long time. We are now introducing what type of Spiritbound Gwyllfayn is. I know, this is big. How do we introduce? I mean, if you read the title of the live stream, there's a big hint there, right? Is there something wrong with my autofocus? Is it autofocusing on the wrong thing? I think it is. Let me just stop the autofocus. There we go. How do we say this? The Spiritbound my god, it's raining heavily outside. I don't know if you can hear it, but it is quite heavily actually. Cheers with my regular sized mug. The Spiritbound walked up to where Cal was standing, and Oops. Placed. And placed his head atop the Fae. Placed his head atop the Faeans as they stood there. As they stood there, the Faeans' hair and the dire wolf, yes, fur looked white fur looked to blend perfectly together. Boom! There we have it. Gwyllfayn is a dire wolf. He's a great big wolf. Because stories with dire wolves, with great big wolves, are always amazing. And it is a little bit of an homage to Ghost from A Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones. Shaggy white. Shaggy white fur. Gwyllfayn let out a long whine as they stood there, let out a long whine. He just let out a long whine. That's fine. Stop the sentence right there. So this is also like an indicator of how big Gwyllfayn is. I know actually this should be down onto Yeah, an indicator of how big Gwyllfayn is as a direwolf. So he's sort of, if this is Carl's head, then Gwyllfayn is going like this. That's sort of what I wanted to allude to, at least. You know, he's placing it down onto his head. Actually, that might be... Nah. Oh, I forgot. I forgot to say what... That like... Gwyllfayn, the introduction of Gwyllfayn, that could be a live short form video, a live stream highlight. So I don't know, that was like 15 minutes in. That was below 15 minutes. Gwyllfayn, that's not Gwyllfayn, is a direwolf. Oh my god. The rain outside looks wild. It's like really, really pouring down. Where were we? Gwyllfayn let out a long whine. Oof. You got a heavy big head. Do you know that? Carl said. And so did he try to escape here? Try to break free from his mental grip? Attempted to remove his Spiritbound. From his attempt to remove his Spiritbound from his what? From his face. From his head. I feel like I'm repeating myself, like in each paragraph here. Place his head on the fans. Remove his spiritbound from his head. Something to remove the spiritbound. Holding him down. Ba ba ba. Ba ba ba. Ba ba ba. So what is he saying right now? He's just trying to move. Let's have some, well, maybe not comedy, but anyone who's ever had a big dog knows how slobbery they can be. Is that a word? Slobbery. And you. I don't want. Oops. Oh my god. I don't want your. Is slobber a word? I feel like it maybe isn't. Slobber. It is actually. Wow, okay. I don't want just slobber in my hair. Come on. Move, boy. Whoops. Come on, move, boy. Yeah, sorry about that. I forgot to change the scene. Gwyllfayn reluctantly. I don't know if you can say that he let go, but now we are saying that. Reluctantly let go. What kind of G is that? Reluctantly let go of his spiritbound. Okay. some thought that just hit me here. There's just, so I want to convey that. I think we talked about this in one of the other live streaming episodes. I want to convey that the Fae Folk and the Spiritbounds are equal, right? So a Fae Folk have a Spiritbound that is an animal. The animal have a Spiritbound that's a Fae Folk. And did my internet connection just break down? No. But when we keep, so Carl is obviously the main character, but Gwyllfayn is also the main character because of this, because they are like, they're tied so much together, right? But I'm worried, or this thought just hit me. I'm worried that it gets confusing. Like the Spiritbound walked up to where Carl was standing. There we have the Spiritbound is Gwyllfayn, right? And here we say Gwyllfayn reluctantly let go of his Spiritbound. So here the Spiritbound is the Fae Folk. And I don't know if it's too confusing from a reader's perspective, if I convey well enough that it's because they're equals, right? Maybe it is. I don't know. I think I'm gonna continue doing this and then we can revise it later, right? And I think that can be a short form video highlight as well. So that is around 28. Oops. 28. Fae Folk plus Spiritbound. Animal plus Spiritbound. Yeah. We don't want to spend too long making annotations live. I think that's a cool discussion. I think that's a cool, like, grammatical discussion, actually. But I think I am going to continue down this road and then we'll see if it makes sense. So how big is Gwyllfayn? If he sort of puts his head down, he's big. He big boy. He a big boy. Let's not end the sentence there with another wine. With another wine. Right here. I also want to convey the deep connection that the two of them have, or like Fae Folk and Spiritbound. I want to convey that they can understand each other just by, like, Carl might be the only one talking, and Gwyllfayn is whining, barking, you know, what wolves do, howling. But they still understand each other, you know? They actually understand each other, not just like when you have a dog and you sort of act what you think they're saying, right? Dog or a cat or another pet. But this is a case of them actually, there's like, they know what they are conveying, what they're saying. And it goes both ways because, well, they're bound by their spirits. I'm thinking if this should be the point where we are revealing that something isn't right. We might be going to the need bit right now, which I guess we can reveal then. Carl and Gwyllfayn has lost their purpose in life as they were chosen by the as they weren't chosen by the other druids. Task they spent the last decade doing with their mentor. Yep. In addition, the fan wants to find love, but his childhood friend, who Carl has been in love with his entire life, has now married someone else. So that combination have left Carl in a depressive state where he doesn't smile anymore. So that's what I meant with saying that Carl, he smiled a bit too much in the beginning, the couple of first pages. But then again, he didn't know that Druid Gwyllfayn and his Spiritbound Dair here like, that was sort of the last straw to send him into the depressive state. I guess you can't really see because I forgot to do this again. That was sort of the last straw that sent him into the depressive state, right? So we have what's it called? We have Carl being looked over for the druid that he has worked hard on trying to achieve, the druid ascension. Then we have him finding out that his childhood love, is getting married to someone else. He knew that, but you know, sometimes you can't accept it until stuff actually happens. And then his mentor and friend, Gwyllfayn and Dair here, decide to die. So that's sort of, you know, a series of unfortunate events as the book movie and TV show were called. In Danish they were called One Accident Rarely Happens Alone on its own. I mean, it's sort of the same, but I'm sure we can all relate to that when there's just periods in your life when stuff sucks ass. And sort of you don't know how to deal with it. So yeah, that's what's happened. This is the need. But something isn't right, the character wants something. Carl wanted to become a druid, he couldn't. He wanted to find love, he didn't. And his mentor and friend decided that they would be no more in this world. So, shit sucks. I'm just writing down a series of unfortunate events. So I'm not sure how I want to progress into that. I mean, we sort of have... We've already talked about this, right? With the flashback story. So we sort of are already in this stage. By the way, hooray! We moved on from the first of the Dan Harmon story circle thingy magic here. Let's go! But yeah, we moved on from that. And that's great, but we don't know how to make it make sense, basically, right? Just need to see something. It's the wrong one. Sorry, just had to read something. Read up on something. Which I'm sure it's this is some amazing entertainment, isn't it? Watching me read something that you can't see. I kind of just wasn't sure if I was in my documents, if I was like revealing stuff I shouldn't be, you know. There are stuff that I don't want to reveal publicly. Right. Where were we? Gwyllfayn reluctantly let go of his Spiritbound with another wine. And then Carl is saying, I know. I know. Carl answered. But we should get going. Actually, no. No. That's no. I don't want to say that right. Don't want to say that just yet. We want to say. It's gonna look silly here. I know Carl answered. It should have been us down there ensuring their passage to the fields of the Amber Father, ensuring their sleep and passage. But sometimes things just aren't in your control. In our control. So what I want to happen now is, what I just wrote up here before we deleted it. What I want to happen now is, Carl saying like we should get going. I think it's time. There's not much more we can do. Gwyllfayn protests. And then Carl's best friend shows up, and he's Spiritbound. We already introduced him, but he is Dandlu, this guy. He shows up and tries to talk because Gwyllfayn doesn't want to leave the Realm Oak. That's sort of Carl's decision. And Dandlu at his Spiritbound Krerun shows up talking about trying to talk him out of it. That's sort of where we're going, and during this talk I want maybe a little bit more about the society of the Fae Folk, you know. How do they live? What do they lead, that kind of thing. Something I want to stress during the next part is that leaving the realm oak is actually quite a big decision. That's not like Fae Folk do not do that. And on top of that, I want to stress that I want to get this sort of like the Fae Folk really hates other races, especially humans, for being so destructive as they are, chopping down forests and such. And the way I wanna do that is by having like the conversation. What are you gonna do? Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll seek out some humans. Why would you want to do that? They're destructive. We hate them, so on. But not without saying it explicitly that they hate them. So that's sort of the next part that we're gonna do. Yeah. I'm also not quite sure that I like that Carl called Gwyllfayn for boy. I know that's usually what you call a dog, and Gwyllfayn is his dog, but this is wolf. But then again, there's Spiritbounds. Yeah, I think it's better we call him the name. Move Gwyll. That says Gwyll. Just so you're aware of it. Yeah, so how do we go into all of that I just said? How do we do that? Carl's facial expression hardly changed. As he patted the wolf, the Dair. The Dair wolf's chest. So he can reach up, right? I thought of saying like he reached up and patted his fur or his chest, But it also sounds like he's like reaching for it, when it's just supposed to be like maybe here or something. As he started so how do we imagine where they're standing? I'm sort of imagining that they're standing like on a, maybe not a plateau, but a small hill or something, looking down over this revelry area. But I don't know if it's like a plateau of like, you know, grassy. I guess not grass, but given that we are in the winter, so probably not grass. Well, maybe grass. Snow-covered earth. Or it could be like on top of a giant root. Because Realm Tree is like, it is this humongous tree, right? It's inspired by Yggdrasil from Norse mythology. The world trees in World of Warcraft, which in turn is also inspired by Yggdrasil. And it has these giant roots that goes through the lands, like go through the forests, away from where the Faeans live, the Fae Folk live, in different directions. 4 different directions. Now, maybe more. Well, it would be cool to introduce them here. Yeah. Yeah, I think that, yeah, maybe that's where they're standing. Started. No, maybe walking was the right word. If we wanna give like the sense of scale of this route that they would be standing on. So that would make it like... Oh, sorry. Oh. That would make it like... like they were traveling down it almost. Or there was a path. There was a path onto the route. So my idea is that these roots, like one of their functions is that the Fae Folk has settled in them. So they're like, sorry. So they're like, well, sure, it's Fae Folk, so they're not very, given that they're not very tall, but like multiple stories of dwellings inside these roots. And this would basically have Carl and Gwyllfayn being on a roof of a building. Like that would be the equivalent, right? As he started to make his way down from the enormous root. Yeah. So what I am a little bit worried about here is that what I'm a little bit worried about here is the fact that we mentioned roots so many times now. Oh, there's a comment here. Wow, this is a really dope concept for a stream. Thanks, man. I think so too. It's quite chill. Welcome. And I hope you enjoy your stay. So yeah, we're making a short story as I'm journeying into fantasy writing all on my very own. I hope you're gonna enjoy yourself. But yeah, we mentioned roots so many times by now, and those are all smaller, normal-sized roots, right? Like roots that are sort of like plugged into the Fae Folk that are dying. And then there's these giant roots, these huge, big roots that are building-sized and stretches far into the distance. Lol saying, fantasy writing is dope. I'll try to chat around while multitasking. Well, you most certainly are very welcome. Great. Super happy to have you here. From the enormous root they had been standing on. And if you have any questions about what I'm writing, about characters, I'm happy to answer them. You can also watch the older streams if you have the time. But yeah, I'm sort of just trying to progress the story, so if you have questions, I'll be happy to answer them, but I probably won't be retelling all the details as I go on. Norse route they've been standing on, and that went far that went so far into the forest that Carl didn't know where they ended up. No, just ended. Oop. So I guess that's a sort of a mention of just how big the roots are, right? Gwyllfayn protested with a couple of loud yaps. And so he sort of like tried to grab a hold of Carl's, I guess, jacket, shirt. This is, of course, we are in the winter, so Carl will be wearing, I guess he will still be wearing like his robe and cloak. I guess let's have a look at what people used. Winter clothing, medieval times, world building. Extra layers, mostly cloaks. Women wore 2 dresses, surcoat, extra kirtles. What's a kirtle? Ah, okay. Fur coats, hats, thick cloaks. I'm not super into the fact that that they would have furs, the Fae Folk. I'm trying to convey a society where like that are in tune with nature, and given that they have spirit bounds that are animals, I mean, I probably don't think that they would have fur. They would be wearing fur. Mostly because they wouldn't want to kill the animals, because they see animals as something different, you know, something that's so connected to them, given their spirit bounds, of course. Lots and lots of layers. Let's just say Gwyllfayn tried to protest it and tried to grab Carl's thick grey cloak that he adorned over his white winter robes. So I feel like this would also, convey that Carl is like he's already on his way. He has his travel cloak on. He have it over his robes. Come on, Gwyll. Carl protested back. Looking into his Spiritbound nope, that did not say Spiritbound. Spiritbound. I think it's dandelion eyes they have. Whoops. Background. No. Yeah, almost like shining yellow dandelions. Shining yellow dandelion eyes. Another feature that made the two look so much alike. Um, we've already discussed this. You know that I won't change my mind, and we have to get out of here before before what? Oh, what big, not a cliffhanger, because we're gonna go into it in just a bit. But so it's just gonna be before his love's wedding ceremony, basically, or maybe before she finds him. She's already married, but song is this sounds cool. Man versus Tank. Well, it doesn't sound. That song doesn't sound fantasy-like at all. It's by the soundings, Man versus Tank, but it does sound cool. Like a going into battle music. I thought that I might find you here. A voice said, and approaching voice said, Carl and Gwyllfayn. Carl and Gwyllfayn looked up Gwyllfayn, still with his Spiritbound travel cloak in his mouth, and Carl trying to wrangle it free. To see a tall Fayan. This is Dandlu. Dandlu and Creirun. Where are they? They are down here. So Dandlu. Dandlu is I actually don't think I want that a Dandlu, because I just want him to be named Dandlu. Dandlu. So Dandlu is what's he called? Is Carl's best friend, childhood friend. And he is the captain of the Ironbarks, which is sort of the military unit of the Fae Folk, at least of the realm oak Fae Folk. Dandlu. I like how it protests some of these corrections, but not all of them. Great job, Google. Dandlu. Oops, that didn't get corrected. Dandlu. So, Dandlu, yeah, he is the captain of the Ironbarks, and his Spiritbound is a moose, a big moose, and I want him to like come sitting in the antlers, so the antlers would be like here, and then Dandlu would be sitting up here, right? So he's sort of riding his soulbound like that. I know, that was a very, very good moose. Moose. So Dandlu is taller than the average Fae Folk. He's strong and muscular, but lean. So he also sports some more weight to go with his side, without being fat, mind you. Much of his extra weight comes from larger legs, and his arms follow along. The hair of Dandlu is probably the most striking feature, but is otherwise a fairly average face among the Fae Folk. Beside Dandlu's large nose, his mane is brown and shaggy, adorning two streaks of grey, one of each side of his face. The streaks start slim at the top of his head until about midways, at which point they expand into two large oval-like shapes. Both Dandlu and Creirun have brown eyes, not vibrant or not washed out either, and they have a tendency to look at people as if they have solutions to their problems, which they somehow also have. Creirun is a quite ordinary moose for the most part, big and muscular with slender legs. Unlike a lot of other soulbounds, Creirun isn't much larger than others of its kind, though still what one would call a large bull. His fur is thick and brown, similar in color to his and his soulbound eyes. Oops, sorry. Where Crayrun differs most from other moose is its antlers, large and majestic, flat with pines on each side. They are also stone gray in color. This gray coloring also spread to the fur and the bottom part of his legs, prevent by dark hooves. So let's see if we can, how we can braid that into the story, right? To see a moose climbing upwards. Okay, when it says climbing, it sort of sounds like it's going like that. So maybe we should just say making its way. Making its way up the giant realm oak root. Right. It had I want to say sported again, but I feel like sported is just like I don't know. I feel like sported is like quite current to say, but I don't know if it actually is. But I'm just thinking sports when I hear the word. Where is probably where it's at. Let's see if we have use, wear and tear, be clothed in, covered. It's probably better. It was covered in its thick brown fur. Thick brown winter fur. A color similar to its eyes and that was only broken. Oh my god, I'm sorry. There we go. It was covered in its thick brown winter fur, a color similar to its eyes, and that was only broken by the gray around the hooves. I'm pretty sure that mooses have hooves. Moose hoof. Yes. By the gray tufts. How do you spell tuft? Tufts. There we go. Around the hooves and that's supposed to be an ant there. Look how close we are to finishing this page. Hooray. And the more striking gray endless atop those do we have another word for antlers? It's crown. Horn. Yeah. I like crown better. Atop those stony atop atop that stony colored and majestic crown. I'm actually quite happy with this particular phrase, the stony colored crown, actually all the way down here. And I am that because you might as well know it. Crerun means stone crown as a name. Comes from Creg and Kurun. Stone crown. Naming smushed together. Because that's how Fae Folk name. Or their naming convention. So, you know, we're sort of here, we're sort of telling what the name Crerun means, even though we haven't actually said Crerun yet. And that's of course coming. Yeah. I'm quite happy with that. It's a little bit of a fun way of saying that, I guess. Yeah, whatever. I said I was feeling weird in the beginning of this stream. Actually, let's annotate that. Around 1:32. Crerun name. Atop that stony colored and majestic crown sat the source of the voice, the source from which the voice came. A Fayan clad in the strong clad in the strong bark Okay, I need to know if there's a different word for bark, because otherwise I'm about to say bark twice. Plant covering. I might be about to say bark twice. Strong bark armor. Strong armor made from the made from the realm oak itself. And was the visible proof. Hey, we did it! We wrote an entire page on stream today. I gotta say, I didn't think I would when we started, because I was feeling weird and strange. And I wasn't sure how long we would last. Of course, we are on page 90 of this book. And I guess that is page 4? 5. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, page 6 of this book. Okay, I didn't think we had written quite so much actually. I thought we were at 4, to be honest. Well, that's nice. Armor made from the realm oak itself, and was the visible actually, let's not say it was the visible, was the garments, I guess we would say. Of the iron box. Much like his spiritbound moose, the rider. What did the rider do? The rider had long brown hair. Actually, I don't want to say the hair part yet, because we're gonna go into the explanation of the hair part. Dan Blue, as we just read, has like this moose antler gray streaks in his hair, down his hair. What on earth is this music? Alright, I guess. I'll keep it. The rider had brown eyes and a big nose. And as well as, probably better here, as well as long, thick brown hair. And much like the mooses, stone colored crown, the Faen hair had two striking they had two striking streaks of the same gray. The streaks, what did the streaks do? They started thin. Streaks started thin. Around the top before expanding. Almost looking like two downward facing antlers. I think that's a pretty good explanation or like description of what Creirún and Dandlu and Creirún look like. Damn, that was some epic music for this description. Battle of the Beasts by the soundings as well. So where did we come from before we said... I thought that I might have found you here. Did you really think that I would let you get away without saying it's G. I think we found the letter for today that I can't write, and it's a G. We also had a weird G over here somewhere. Yeah, now we can't find it, of course. But I feel like, without saying, I feel like, yeah, that's today's letter that we don't know how to write. I just mentioned. I think let's go just to 2 hours, so like 12 minutes left, and that's probably it for today. I am feeling a bit strange, but on the other hand, I've been positively surprised by how much we've actually managed to do. Still, but right now my brain is turning to mush. I can feel that. So let's see. Hopefully we won't write too many things these last 12 minutes that I'll regret. Without saying goodbye. Actually, we'll just like, I will let you get away. Let's bring in some drama here. Let's bring in a little bit of drama, right? How did you know that we were leaving? Cal asked. The Fae as the Spiritbound. Spiritbound moose. Bend down. To let its rider did you really think that you would Did you really think that you would... is there another way of saying get away that is not saying get away? Did you really think... So I like this, did you really think that I would let you get away? And then he repeats, did you really think that you could, is probably the word we're looking for here. Just leave. The Fae continued with a smile. As he opened his arms. Without saying goodbye to your very, very best friend. That's a... I'm quite happy with that introduction, actually, of Danlu. Yeah, I'm very happy with it, actually. I'm sorry, Danlu. Sorry, Danlu. Carl apologized. as his friend, as his childhood friend. Embraced him. I thought that I could catch you on your patrol around the oak. I swear. Question. I swear. Should that be a? Should that be a? Should that just be I swear, or should that be a like a common phrase? Come up with a phrase. Around the oak, I swear. Sure, you have to say that. Sure, you have to say that now. Now that actually, I've caught you. Andrew said. As he started to pet Gwyllfayn, who had finally let go of Carl's cloak. And excitedly presented his belly. I see that you were doing, oh my god, it's another horrible G, doing a good job getting him to stay. Gwyllfayn. Those teeth would have been great for us in the iron bark. Right, we're over 2 hours now. I just sort of wanna have the next line set up for next time. Cal felt bad since Dandlu had seen right through. And as we always do, we're ending it there on an unfinished word, so that next time it's easier to pick up and get started. That was 2 hours for today. I think my brain has turned to mush, and I thank you guys so much for joining me as we continue the writing of Want. And now that we have Gwyllfayn introduced, we've moved on to the next step in Dan Harmon's story circle. We have introduced Dandlu and Creirún. Well, we haven't actually introduced Creirún yet by name, but we've introduced him, Moose, Spiritbound. This was a way better session than I was hoping for when I sat down, and I felt weird and all that. But we did it. It's awesome, and I hope to see you next time. I think I have an outro saying it's gonna be a bit cringe. It's gonna be a bit, I don't know. Here it is. Thank you guys so much for watching, and be sure to write your own story.